We'll start off with a song and then an excerpt from a talk on Concentrate Your Forces by Swami Kriyanandaji. Welcome again to everyone.
People who lived in these hills, brave the great warriors who confronted the foe, to defend what is holy, to defend what is true. Our Lord on mankind in His duty bestow. Glad all our children who people these hills, glad in their visions their hearts understand what became of past struggles. Now the records are still, but courage still lingers, giving strength to the land. And hunger for riches, for power, and for fame, by favor they think they will grow. The battles they fight, the victories they win, are never the victories they know. Men hunger for riches, for power, and for fame, by favor they think they will grow. The battles they fight, the victories they win, are never the victories they know. Brave were the people who lived in these hills, brave the great warriors who confronted the foe, to defend what is holy, to defend what is true. Our Lord on mankind did His duty bestow. Our Lord on mankind did this duty bestow.
One of the problems that people face in life is an inability to put all their energy into any direction, any one direction at a time. Their energies are not only scattered in the sense that they want to do several things, but more than that, they're paralyzed or negated, contradicted, by the fact that even while they want to do something, another part of their mind says, I don't want to do it. The strength that they have to move forward is offset by their wish to not involve themselves, their fear that maybe they'll fail if they try, that maybe the results either won't be forthcoming, or that if they are forthcoming, will they really be what they want, and so on. In all life, there is this, you might call it an upward and a downward energy. This all sort of ties in with the teaching which has been often noted by, the truth, I should say, that's often been noted by psychologists and different writers in the West without any reference to the science of yoga, and that is that in all of us there is a life wish and also a death wish. This death wish, the French called it la nostalgie de la boue, the nostalgia for the mud. It's really a good expression in the sense that all of us have this thought. Well, we could put it this way. Here we are on the battlefield of life, knowing that we want to resolve the battle by achieving peace. And there are two ways that we can see of achieving this peace, this surcease of struggle. One is to win a victory, and the other is to give up. The one is to put out a great deal of energy to combat, to struggle, and the other is either to give up by letting them kill you, by feigning dead, by surrendering, by running away, whatever it might be. There is in every struggle in life this thought that, well, if I don't try, maybe it'll work out and I'll get the same results, in the sense that there won't be any more of this pain involved of having to struggle, having to fight it out. So I think probably this is the source of that life wish and death wish. The one is to have a state of consciousness, such a dynamic life within us that we can transcend every trouble, transcend every test, transcend every difficulty in life. And the other is the thought that, well, if we're not around, then we won't have those difficulties. If we die, that's only a part of the death wish, the literal wish for death. The wish to go to sleep and sleep it off is another obvious corollary. But the wish to fade out, the wish to not take it on, the wish to be a non-entity, for example, rather than go through the struggle that it takes to achieve success.
Again to everyone. This is such a wonderful topic, and I had to smile listening to Swamiji, because who hasn't gone through that, where you don't want to be bothered anymore, you don't want to try anymore. When I first came to Ananda, I stayed here for a short time. I was visiting as an apprentice, and at a certain point I was so rebellious. I said, I don't want to energize anymore, I don't want to do Hong, so I don't want to get up in the mornings early anymore, and I don't want to serve. And this is what happens along the way on the path, that this other part of you is just pulling you back when the soul is moving forward. And I think everyone goes through that, but I have to say, after I left here, nothing went right. And I hoped that it would go right. I hoped I could kind of slink back into the consciousness I was in and be with the friends I was with and all of that. But it was terrible. Everything that could go wrong went wrong until I came back and I said, no, I'm going to fight for my spiritual life. And even though it was more difficult, all the doors started opening up and help started to come, and the masters helped me, and I had guru bhais, and I had techniques, and I had books and places to go, and all of this help. And any time I tried to shrink back, nothing worked. And I could feel in my heart, and I know you felt this too, master's displeasure, that's not who you are. Like Krishna said to Arjuna, that's not who you are. Get up and fight. And so in our spiritual life, we have to be moving forward. And I remember one wonderful example Swamiji gave of some people on a bus. This was in Nepal, and they were stuck in a ditch, and the driver asked everyone to get out and push, and nothing happened. And so the driver finally got out and looked, and half the people were pushing from the front and half were pushing from the back. And so of course the bus didn't go anywhere. And I think this is what we do. We say, does meditation work? Nothing happened, and maybe something happened. Affirmations, it really didn't work, but I'll try it again. Oh, that chant didn't work, but I'll keep chanting. Oh, that attitude it's good, but it's bad. You know, and like Swamiji said, we go back and forth, up and down. We need to go forward and move forward with strength. And I recall when I went to college, I went to a very difficult school from a very easy high school in an underprivileged area, and I got up to a difficult college, University of California at Berkeley, and through affirmative action. And I got in that school, and I mean, it took everything I had to just get into the school. And then in the first quarter, I was flunking. The first quarter, the first class I had was physical anthropology. I can't even tell you now what it means. I needed something in science. And there was a huge hall, 500 people, one professor standing up there, and I never understood anything. And and then I was out with my friends. You know, it was the first quarter. I was out doing fun things and with people and getting to know the Berkeley. We called it Berserkly then, and we were going wild. And then I get this midterm result was an F on my midterm, I was just shocked. I never had an F in my life. I was straight A student. And I just said, I just can't flunk out of college. I can't flunk out of college. And so I also had a part-time job. But what did I do? I concentrated my forces. I got in that library. Every day I studied for hours and hours and hours. I kept saying, you can learn, you can learn, you can learn. And I just kept using my will. And that's where I learned willpower. And what happened at the final exam? I got an A. Now that's an incredible story. After college, a year after college, I met Swamiji and I got on the path. But I really feel that that time when I had to concentrate my mind and my forces and my inner power to get out of that school, I studied like that for 4 years. By the time I got out, I said, I've never want to study like that again. I don't want to study at all. Then I met Swamiji and I've been studying ever since. Isn't that amazing? But I had to lift up. And that's the thing. You go through things in your life where you have to focus, you have to concentrate. And once you can do that, what are those forces that help you to concentrate? Determination, energy, focus, joy, all the things, strength, courage. And so many people just want to be passive and think Guru is doing for me, God will do everything. But I haven't never found that to work. Honestly, I've only found the work is I put energy out. Then Divine Mother came. And so as we do this, we get through tests. You get through challenges. You grow spiritually. Things that are difficult in your life. As you get bigger, they get smaller. As you get smaller, they get bigger. But if you can just focus yourself, and I love this image for tonight's class, that spiritual eye. If you can focus, that's the seat of concentration. There's a powerhouse there. If you can focus on going into the Om, like Master said, nothing can touch you. If you can focus on listening to the inner sounds and lifting up the energy and feeling that energy moving in your spine, you got power. But people just want to sit on the couch. They don't want to work for it. You have to work for it. But once you get engaged, then the energy's there. Then the power's there. Then the problems go away. Then circumstances change. Then your health gets better. Then your prosperity gets better. And you have to focus your, concentrate your forces. And so how do we do that the best ways? The first thing is we have to be able to get things, be more open. That's what I want to say. Be more open and not just use will. Now there's a place for will, but we want to be balanced. I heard a beautiful story here, and I'm hearing, it's beautiful. And in Ananda village, I'm just walking through the fields and I'm seeing deer, and it's beautiful. Flowers everywhere. There's 17,000 tulips in the tulip garden, and it's just wonderful. And one thing before I get to this other point is one way you can concentrate your forces is to be in a place like this. If you can't be in a place like this, be in a holy place. Be online with other devotees. And I mean, you come here as to a place like this, you automatically meditate better. Everybody here is a Kriyapan. Everybody here is serving. Everybody here, you pass them, everybody waves, hi, they're joyful. This Master's army. And so the first thing, and I would say this to all of you, it's for concentrating your forces, don't go on alone. Get help. Be with others. Be with strong, dynamic people. Don't be with weaklings. Get strong in yourself by being with others who are moving forward, who are spiritual warriors, who are going for God. And another wonderful thing, Swamiji said this, do one thing at a time. Focus on one thing. I know this is hard because we're completely scattered. We live in a completely scattered environment. There's online, and not online, not our online. Our online is good. What we're talking about. There's social media, and then you've got family. You've got your job. You've got your exercise routine. You've got all the different things you want to do in life. You've got so many things going. There's pulls everywhere. How are you going to focus? You've got to have a base, a foundation. You've got to build a strong base. And if you build that strong base, then nothing's going to push you down. Now, how do you build that strong base? Swamiji said, do one thing at a time. Now, what did he mean? Do one chant. Now, this is a powerful method. He said, get into one chant and chant it and chant it and chant it. Even if you don't believe it. He said, even if you don't believe it, affirm it. But chant it, chant and chant. You see that you're just digging deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until you pull that reality out. And then, like there was one devotee, Master saw him, he was digging a hole, he dug, he never thought about it, he just kept digging. Master said, that's how you find God. Don't keep, am I going far? I didn't get anywhere. Just keep moving. Or another good example is pulling a nail out of a board. You just keep pulling. Says, how is it? Am I almost done? Just keep going, and then pop, it's gone. And so if you chant is one thing, and then Swamiji said, and then practice one technique deeply, meaning don't scatter your forces. I do this, and you're not doing anything. You're just doing all techniques, but you're not meditating. And so get into one deep technique and keep driving in until you get some results from it. You can do the other ones a little bit, but take one and really go into it. And the same thing with the gurus. Swamiji told us, even every week, take a different one of the gurus and meditate on that guru and just bring Lahiri Mahashaya into your consciousness as a householder and feel, what does it feel like to be that? What does it feel like to have Swami Sri Yukteswarji disciplining you? People don't want to hear that word discipline. You need it. You need to be disciplined. And Swami Sri Yukteswarji will definitely discipline you. But if you have him guide you for the whole week, take Babaji, have him guide you the whole week. Do you see how beautiful your meditation can be then? And take one book and dive deep into that book. Everything that we have, take one and just try to go deep into it. And finally, another one is the satsang balance. This is the one I wanted to get to. Be balanced. Now I was a bit fanatical, and I still am a little bit, but it's better now. But you can't just drive all the time straight ahead. You've got to have heart. You can't just go, I'm going to break through the doors of heaven. You have to have, when you have devotion and you have a feeling in your heart, and thank God I grew up in a bhakti family, and if you have that devotion, it balances you out, and things open up better. Instead of this, it's sort of more round, and it's easier for you. And some of the guys told me, I've been walking around the community here, as you probably can imagine. Some of the guys told me that when they were working in the shrine of the masters, well, not the shrine of the masters, but the Moksha Mandir, where Swamiji's body is, that they said, of course they would do the work, they were building it, but they said they would go and they would sit and meditate by where Swamiji's body was then. It was out in the garden right by his home. And they would just just meditate on Swamiji. Now, what would you like? Well, how would you like this? What would you like to have happen? Now, that's focusing, concentrating your forces when you get that kind of energy behind you and just feeling sensitively. This is what I'm saying, sensitively. How should I go forward? What can I do? Instead of just blasting, just feel what's the right thing to do. And they said they would play mantras just all day in the temple, in the mandir, because they wanted that vibration. And same with the Temple of Light here. They would meditate at lunchtime, the guys who were working on, and just feel all the masters' vibrations. And this is such an important thing, to balance out the head and the heart, the will. There's a whole part about doing, and then we have to be. Doing and being. We have to balance that out. And as you do, you will find that you're a whole. And that whole can focus. It's like a laser. Head and heart can focus and can concentrate your forces, and everything in your life just goes better. Don't be a scattered person. Don't be passive and not lazy. Just really go for it. Go for God. Go in your spiritual life. Help other people. And then you will find that when you do that, the secret is the masters help you. If you don't do it yourself, God helps those who help themselves. If you do it yourself, I found miraculous things happen. I'll just close with this. It was a miracle I even got here to America because my ticket was, 2 tickets were canceled. I had to really struggle to even get a seat on the plane. And up until the time I walked out of the house to go to the airport, I was struggling. Divine Mother, you got to help me to get on the plane. And then, but I worked on it. I worked myself. And then pop, it just happened. Now I'm struggling on this end to get back to India to get my visa. Struggle. But I'm not going to sit back. I'm going to get that visa and I'm going to be back. But you see the difference rather than, Divine Mother is helping me. She's not helping you. You're going to help yourself. Then she will help you. Then everything else goes. Master said the greater the will, greater the flow of energy, greater the magnetism, the greater the inspiration. God bless you all. And I'll ask Nitendra, my good friend, now to come on screen. We have a few questions that have come in.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. And we are waiting for the miracle to happen so that you can...
I'll be back.
Dhyanaji, we have a few questions. The first one is, I'm a bit scattered and have a hard time sticking with one thing. So how can I change that?
I would say make a list. Make a priority list. Write things down. Write in a journal. Get a buddy, a meditation buddy if you can't get up in the mornings or something, and you message each other. You need help. And set your alarm. Have Master be your buddy. You get up then. I've had several times when I just said, Master, I want to get up at this time. Right at that time, something happens, and suddenly you're up. So these masters are there to help us. And Swamiji said, they're on our side. Ask for their help, but also help yourself. Write down what you want to do. Don't just think, oh, I'm just in the flow. I see people like that. They don't accomplish much of anything. But if you write down, I want to do this, and just put it down. And here's another thing I'll say. And Nitendra, I know you understand this because we talk about it a lot. What you say you're going to do, why not actually do that? I mean, why not do what you said you're going to do? Because every time you don't do it, you weaken your magnetism, you weaken your will, you weaken your spiritual energy. You just get weaker and weaker and weaker. And don't tell untruths because you just weak. It's like an aura. You just keep poking holes in that aura of energy, of focused concentration, and then all the energy just bleeds out. And so be honest with yourself. Be truthful. Do what you say you're going to do. Get help from buddies. I had many spiritual buddies, still have, and just get help. Don't think you can make it on your own. You can't. It's just too difficult. So that's what I would say for that one.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. The next question is, it's hard to be willing all the time. Sometimes I'm tired or I feel lazy. So can I take a break sometimes from being willing?
Actually, that's why I'm here. I'm taking a break, but I'm still willing. So I say, disconnect the willing from the break. Still be willing, but take breaks. Swamiji took breaks. He'd do a big project, writing a book or writing an album or music to an album, and he would take a break. He took seclusions as well, times alone with God. He also would go to beautiful places for a vacation. He would always take people, Nanda people with him. He would go out and enjoy a nice meal. He would go out and enjoy some shopping. You can't just keep driving yourself. And what my gauge is, am I still joyful? If you're not joyful anymore and you're just like, oh, yeah, I gotta do it, just, if the joy's not there, you've gone too far. And so just use that gauge. Follow the joy. There should be joy in things that you do. So if you've gone over a little bit, and your friends will tell you, something's not quite right, or why don't you take a seclusion, or, they pay us at Ananda Village to take a seclusion. Your friends say, isn't it seclusion time yet? So all of these things will help you, but don't force yourself. Just, there should be a sense of natural flow and natural rhythm as well, and joy. Next.
Energy, we have a live question.
Okay.
So if I have a negative thought, how can I use my will to get rid of some thought that is continuously rotating in my sleep?
That's a very good one. Now, Swamiji said this, remember? He got rid of, was it doubt, fatigue? It was a mood, remember? He put his focus here at the point between the eyebrows for 5 minutes. It was gone. Try that. If you feel negativity, laziness, doubt, fear, worry, all these things, the point is, if you can get to this point and sit there and just, it's like a laser beam. You've got so much power here. It just starts burning away, all of those things. So if there's a negative thought, if you can't do that, the other thing is tensing, relaxing. Walk in place, run in place, do a couple of yoga postures, chant, put on the music, put on a talk by Swamiji. There's so many things. I mean, really, come on. We have this huge toolbox. There's so many tools in there. But most people take the box, there's a closet, shut the door, and it's over. So use those tools. You've got to strengthen yourself. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can do it for you. 25% is your efforts. 25%, if you put your effort in, that means 100%. Master can help you. He said, I'll give you lots of my good karma. 50%, Divine Mother pours in her grace. But the point of this talk today is to get activated, get moving. It's not easy. I mean, I've gone through many struggles, but I'm strong for it, I tell you that. And so you don't want to be like that disciple Master had, who Master called him his baby, because Master called in public, he said, this is my baby, whatever the man's name was. He said, you don't mind me calling you that, do you? And the man said, no, Master, no. Do you want to be a baby? And so you want to be a warrior. So, and I'm just telling you, the more you do these things, the stronger you get. Something comes and you just slap it off instead of, oh God, no, I'm weak, weak aura, I gotta eat an avocado. You just get stronger and stronger, and then things don't bother you as much. Get strong in yourself. And I know during COVID, people were saying, before COVID, everybody said, I don't have time. During COVID, I still don't have time. Now, I couldn't figure that one out. After COVID, now I still don't have time. When are you going to have time? Take some of these things, write it down, and say, this month I'm going to focus, I'm going to concentrate my forces by listening to Swamiji's talks, Master's talks, doing yoga postures, or doing more kriyas, or energizing twice a day, or you see what I'm saying? And it's not, I'm going to not concentrate my forces by watching movies every night, or getting on social media for 3, 4, 5 hours. That's not, I mean, that's not our kind of concentration. So, okay, other questions you might have?
We have 2 more questions, Dhyanaji.
Okay.
The first one is, sometimes I feel too willing, and then I get nervous and restless as a result of that. So how can I be balanced between being willing and over-enthusiastic?
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Well, Master tells that story. Swamiji told it in the New Path, rather, Swamiji, about the nun when Master was cooking. Remember, and she got up. She said, "Oh, I'll just help him. I'll wash the dishes as he's cooking." So he would dirty one pot, and she'd clean it, and then he'd dirty another pot, and she'd clean it, and he'd dirty it, and she just got more and more anxious and nervous, and he kept dirtying more and more, faster and faster, because he was trying to teach her, be centered in yourself. So finally she sat down, and then he wasn't dirtying any more pots. And so you find that if you get anxious, nervous, restless, you're not centered. And how is it that you don't get centered? I'll tell you one thing that was so much fun today is that I had 2 good friends with me who helped me get my visa together. We had this big, long table. It was like we were at base camp. We had everything laid out on the table, all these papers that had to go in, and the passport, and the pictures, and we worked 3.5 hours back and forth, back and forth. We were just jamming on that. Then we finally got everything ready and put it in the post. Now that was such a fun thing to do, but that was a focus, that was a concentration of forces. And so everything you do should have, but we weren't restless, we were centered, we were calm, but fuck, I'm going to get that thing in the post today. So focus, but don't get too restless. And the thing that keeps you from being like that, now before that activity, what did I do? I meditated long and deep. Then I had the Shakti, and I went in there and said, pop! See the difference? Otherwise, if I had to meditate, I would have gone, oh my visa. So meditate, get the power going in you, and then you can do anything with God's power. So then you have one more?
Yes, Dhyanaji. You did touch upon a bit. These days it's very hard to concentrate as there are too many pulls from family life, work, social media, WhatsApps, calls. So life is very stressful and demanding, and therefore it's very hard to concentrate. So what should I do in such a situation?
But you're not stressed out, Natendra. You have a lot going on. So I say again, a person who's keep your base solid, keep a firm foundation, pull back. I've said this before in other workshops. Get a piece of paper and write on one side how I use my time. On the other side, what do I want to do with my time? I did that at the beginning of the path. I was wasting so much time. Sleeping, shopping, talking on the phone, doing nothing. Television. It was just like, gosh, look at all that wasted time. And then I said, what do I want to do? I want to do yoga postures. I want to learn the chants. I want to meditate more. I want to go to satsangs. I took time off of the wasted time from the one side, and I put it on the other. And I was able to do much more. So that's a focus of your concentration of your forces too. Look at what you're doing with your day. Do you want to be on social media 5 hours a day? I don't. Do you want to watch 2 movies every night? No, it's not. That's not our life. Master has outlined it. And so seva and meditation, take care of your duties, have a little bit of time to relax. But I think most people are way overboard on the relaxing part. They're just like got the TV and the remote. It's just like, that's a waste of time. How are you going to concentrate your forces? And I'm going to tell you one last thing before we close. As Swamiji said this, he said a person who watches a lot of television cannot meditate. That's what he said clearly. They cannot meditate because you're just having these images all the time and your mind is just going like this. Then you sit down to meditate. It's very, very... He just said they cannot meditate. So I would take that and listen to him and pull back on the things that are just stimulating you outward, outward, outward. Finally, I'll say there are phases in life. I had a phase when we were in Italy where we were so outward. I mean, everybody was new coming to the center. Nobody knew how to meditate. We hardly ever meditated. I mean, not long. And I have been used to meditating long, and we were chanting up a storm. All we did was chant, 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 because nobody could meditate. I remember saying to Swamiji, I want to meditate. All we do here is chant. And he looked at me and said, you need to chant. I said, okay. So I chanted for 7 years. And then I came back to Ananda village and I went into the Kriya Sangha. I was coordinating that. I had to meditate, you see. So sometimes, you have a small child. You can't meditate that much then. The child grows up. You can meditate more. Somebody's ill in the family. You can't meditate that much then. Then they get well. So my rule of thumb is when the opportunities are there to deepen the sadhana, go for it. They won't always be there. Sometimes, and when you're older, your health just doesn't allow for it. So, but I think if we do our best, Divine Mother, she fills in the gaps happily. And I think that we feel those blessings coming to us. But let's get back to the topic. You have to concentrate your forces. And as you do, everything else is added unto you. And you make a lot of spiritual progress. So thank you, Natendra. Thank you, everyone. Joy to you, and I'll see you next week. God bless you.